What is up, guys? I have not been live in a long time, and what a way to come back with this. Probably the best looking group of guys you're ever going to see in the home theater community
Well,
with the lights off. And I just got to say thanks for everybody stopping by, joining us on a Friday night. Seriously, we got a nice star-studded pack right here. We got Obsessed Home Theater Youth Man in the house, which he just made it here in a nick of time.
Yeah.
Big digital Dunn AV, Audioholics. You guys all know him. And then I'd say the guest of the hour, not to discredit the other guests, but I mean, we've all drooled over some of Wayne Pamposa's amazing home theaters that he's built from Auto Rio. So, guys, I just want to say Friday night, there's a lot of other things you guys could be doing right now. Well, Wayne, it's Saturday morning, but you guys chose to hang out with me and all of our communities to chat about, I mean, this hobby that we all love so much. So, first of all, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you.
Yeah, man. This
You're
is
welcome.
fun. I think it's cool having Don, and especially Wayne, man. Wayne and I connected a couple of years ago. He said, "Hey, Michael, I'm building a showroom. I'm an integrator, and I'd love to have you out." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. Where are you at?" He's like, "I'm in the Philippines." I'm like, "Okay." So honestly, Wayne, I never thought that was going to work. You know, I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." And then dude reaches out to me. He's like, "All right, I'm ready. I'm ready to bring you over." And so me and my wife flew over to the Philippines because of you. Had a chance to meet him, his beautiful wife, had an amazing time. What I regret, only stayed 2 days in the Philippines because Jessica had to get back to teaching school. But super cool connect with him. One of the nicest guys in the industry, incredible designer. And so definitely it's been awesome getting to know you, but also to have you on the podcast. So it's cool to be here with you, man.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. So awesome to be here. You know, I'm so excited to, well, just to hang out with you guys now.
It's about damn time, Wayne.
A long time coming.
Yeah.
You know, as a professional theater designer for 30 years, you kind of look at other people's work. You're like, nah. And I started seeing these theaters a few years ago, and I'm like, was that AI? I was sure that was some AI, and I'm like, oh shit, that's not AI. And I just started seeing Wayne post all these incredible rooms.
Yeah.
Really just, he's an artist. I mean, not everybody has the eye, and Wayne just creates these stellar environments. And I started following his career and reached out to him. And, you know, I know that Filipinos are the nicest people in the world. I mean, I think they won that award a couple years ago. But in just got to know the man and what a humble, incredibly poetic, beautiful soul he is, man. And just, you know, I just, my hat's off to you, brother. I mean, you know, from, you know, one designer and pro to another, man, you're just killing it, dude. And I'm just glad to know you, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wayne's going to be walking around his house after this podcast with this chest puffed up. Do you guys know who you're dealing with here?
That's right.
Just the ring.
Yeah. But
Actually,
Wayne's coming to Chicago, man, to hang out with me and some fellow enthusiasts of the community for a Bass Brings Us Together experience. I've a lot of really cool people in the industry come through the house, but I mean, Wayne's in a superior league, you know, with a few other top-notch guys, and it's when he's like, "Hey, I'd like to come and hang out with you," I'm like, what do you need, a new janitor for your shop or something? What are you looking for? So
whatever, dude.
It's super cool. It's very surreal, but it's like, you know, obviously Wayne does this for a living, but at the end of the day, because me and him chat a lot outside of this, he's a diehard enthusiast playing with his toys, just like the rest of us.
Yeah.
It really is. So.
Yeah.
Well, we all are. All of us here love playing with our toys. I mean, that's why we're all enthusiasts and everybody
more than
watches the
others.
stream.
Yeah.
No.
So obviously we'll have a lot to chat about tonight. If you guys have any questions in the chat, we'll certainly try to answer those as well. And we'll just kind of work our way around just kind of what we've been up to. Let's start with you, Michael, because you literally got home 9 minutes before this aired.
Yeah, not too long ago. So I've been in Lady Lake, Florida, where we have Obsessed Home Theater, our lab, and our headquarters. And so we've been building out a space to where I can begin to test stuff, different gear, different speakers, do some comparisons, answer questions that you guys are wanting to know. I got a question the other day that said, "Hey, Michael, I'm considering JTR, the 212 RTs, but I want to know, is it worth me going up to the 215 RTs?" And I can't answer that question because I've never had them in the same room, connected to the same gear. So we're literally today and yesterday we were building a rack, getting all that set up, getting some wiring done. Next Monday, we've got to install some acoustic panels and treatment in the room. And so we're just building it out so that I don't have to use my theater room to tear apart every time I get something in to test and to review and to check out. And so that's what we've been up to. So it's about a 2-hour drive each way. So usually I'll go up on Mondays. Sometimes I'll stay Monday and Tuesday. Sometimes it's on Friday, but typically it's in the first of the week. And so I've been going up pretty much every Monday, and I'll get up there at 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, either way. And then I'm there till usually sometimes 7 or 8, drive home, get home about 10, and then take a shower, and then hop on my computer and start editing the videos that I filmed up there, and then hopefully get one live the next day. So even tonight, we're going to do the podcast. I got home about 30 minutes before the show. And so we'll go probably an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, who knows. And then as soon as we're done with this, I'm going to edit a video for tomorrow. So it's just a grind, man. But I love what I get to do. I really feel like I'm just, just grateful to have the opportunity to share my passion, to be an encouragement to you guys that are in the chat and that those that are watching the channel, but to have some great friends in the industry like Scott, Wayne, and Dunn. To me, that's what it's about. I mean, I see Mike in the chat, Spiffy Bendrix. He's got a cool channel. He's one of my patrons. Just some great dudes, man. So I love hanging out with y'all and just having fun and sharing our passion for home theater.
Well, that's awesome. And I listened to a lot of that, but we gotta bring Don on first because Spliffy says that Digital Don is the GOAT. So let's hear some words of wisdom from the man that I have been seeing flying around on a private jet.
Yeah.
Do you need a luggage? Do you need a luggage boy? I'm available this week.
Yes, boy. Hold for the shake. I'm going to try not to demonetize you tonight.
Yeah.
My usual
I appreciate that.
I'm at a drop of alcohol in weeks. So a lot of you guys know I had a pretty rough beginning to my year. Had a laminectomy. It's that just doesn't sound right. Laminectomy. Surgery on my neck to fix my arm. So then what happens? My arm stopped working. And so 3 months ago, I was sitting on my couch rotting, could barely feed myself, could barely, couldn't bathe myself, couldn't do whatever. And I got a call that my oldest friend in the world had had a stroke and was dying. And, I had to go see him. I mean, I was in a cradle with this guy. So I literally snuck out to my car and, put my arms on the wheel and drive around the neighborhood. So I drove 3 days maybe, and felt like I was ready. And I sat on an 850-mile journey through tornadoes, through hailstorms, through flat tires that I couldn't change. And got to spend some time with my friend, and kind of changed me, man, to be honest with you. Just understanding the frailty of life and whatnot. So I made a decision right then that I was going to pursue dreams that I had not pursued. We always get caught up in this monotony of life. I think all of us do. I was an integrator. I'd won all kinds of awards. I pretty much achieved all the things you can achieve as a professional integrator over a long time, and it just wasn't satisfying me anymore. So at that time, I started a company doing fiber optic lines, infrastructure on telephone poles. And so we set off to Texas, another epic journey. And when I was in Texas, I got a call from a company that's making high performance, high resolution audio and video for private jets. which really intrigued me. And they said, hey, we would like to invite you to come see our product. Anyways, I got to go with them on a little test flight on a 737 from Louisiana to California. Got to shoot some video, check out this plane. So now I've kind of injected myself into the aerospace industry. So I'm still going to be doing audio video reviews, like always, amping it up. I'm actually getting ready to move to North Georgia, where I'm going to have a nicer house and a better setup so I can film more videos. But I'm going to start jet setting around. They told me I got to get my passport ready. So who knows? Maybe we'll go to the Philippines. Wayne.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
That
I'm
great.
kind of independent, not working for anybody in there, and I'm going to get to know the people in the industry, the designers, the MROs, or integrators that build the planes. It's a fascinating industry, and the electronics for that all kind of tie in together. I know what good video looks like. I know what good audio is. I know what good automation and control. It's just on a smaller scale. So that's it, man. I'm new journeys and new places, and I have a dear friend of mine that owns a beautiful, amazing farm in North Georgia, and I'm going to move up there and have my own place and just kind of get right, man.
Well, that's good to hear, Don. That I mean, because me and you were in a lot of discussions during that first part of your surgery, and I know life was rough for you at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I was in the hospital while you were recovering, and we were sitting there, and
commiserating.
Yeah, it was a sad situation.
Like, oh, my hip's not doing too good. How's your bunion?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
no, but it's cool, man. It's never too late to reinvent yourself. It's never too late to pursue your dreams. Like, if there's something that you've had in your heart for many, many years and you just haven't had the balls to do it, or the whatever, do it. Just because life is short, man.
Yeah.
Kind
of puts things in perspective, And
so Wayne,
you really have to figure out like what are your priorities and what really matters. And
tell the people in your life how you feel. Say what words need to be said, and really, more importantly, what actions need to be done. Because words are words, actions are actions. So, and I'm hoping to give you guys a lot more better quality content moving forward. My objective reviews and my opinions based on 30 plus years as an integrator and doing hundreds of systems. So, and I appreciate all the supporters, the people that follow, everybody that's helped me out with all my heart and soul. I mean, so the only way I can repay that is to live my best life.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Awesome.
So Wayne, it's funny that when I said I was going to have you on a podcast, I get a bunch of questions. People like, can you ask Wayne this? Can you ask Wayne that? So we're not going to go, because I assume that we all have something to do in the next 12 hours. First of all, I've seen a lot of, like, you're running a lot of shorts and commercials and stuff for your business. I mean, which is awesome. I'm seeing more and more of your content. So I think it's cool that obviously, you're already a name in the business, but now you're even getting more recognition. So not only as an enthusiast of your work, just being your friend, that is super cool to see. What and I see a lot of I mean, you've always been popular, but you're getting pretty popular from what I see. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what's Wayne been up to
currently? Are you asking me what I've been up to in the past few months, or?
No, yeah, just like I mean, you've been doing good. Family been doing good. Everything's been just how your day to day, everything's been going for you.
Yeah. Well, just like all of you guys, I went into this business by first being an enthusiast, and it's just following my passion and my dream. I had a job before that I wasn't really happy in, and so I took a leap, and I took a leap of faith, and just go out there and go for your dream of doing home theaters, the thing that I love doing the most in the world. And so it kind of like, I was lucky in that regard, because it paid off for me. And the past few years that I've been, working fully in home theaters now, has been nothing but a blast for me. I I wake up each day. I'm excited to do the things that I need to do. There are no Monday blues, and you just go out there and when you have more work, it excites you instead of stresses you out, and so it's just really so awesome. And with Ottery, dealing with the high end part of the market. I get to actually play with toys that I wouldn't be able to afford otherwise. And so past few years before when we got our first Trinov, and it was shipped to our house. And before I go out of the house, I had to lock the door because the Trinov costs more than my house.
Right. Wow.
So yeah, and it's something really spectacular for me to be able to actually see these things and work with these
Yeah.
things. We all dream about. So yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. We've talked plenty of times, and you've never told me that story before. But it's weird when you put stuff into perspective like that. It's I've seen a Trinov. I've touched it. Don's told me he's touched one, and Youthman's touched them. So
I've done systems with them. I mean, yay.
So, well, obviously, I mean, we're 20 minutes into this, so we should dig into some of the questions because we actually need to provide some useful content for people other than us all just telling each other how great that we are, which we all know that's true. And this is actually a good question we can all answer and give our thoughts on because I'm not an integrator. I don't build systems, but Michael sells products. Don's installed it. Wayne's installed it. And I'll start with you, Wayne. And it's funny because I just seen on Facebook right before I got on here where somebody just put Dolby Atmos has to be the biggest load of crap that anybody's ever tried to push on us.
Wow.
All it is it's nothing more than bed layer speakers just smearing all the content together.
That person's an idiot.
God, you got to wait your turn for your constructive criticism.
My bad.
I seen that look in your eye.
I mean, like, when am I supposed to not respond to stupidity? Like,
no, that's good, Don. That natural reaction. So let's even just start with you. What you've obviously installed plenty of systems way before Dolby Atmos was even talked about. So that change in the industry for you installing or people wanting or your experiences with it, I mean, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I think Atmos was a huge step forward. It just like anything like 1080p TVs were out for years before there was 1080p content. 4K TVs were out years before we had any, we had like one channel that had two guys playing catch in 4K or, stupid stuff. Once the content started coming out and the Dolby up mixers got better, the processing chips got better, is really when it came into its own. And I think Atmos has been a game changer. I mean, it adds a completely different dimension to the sound, especially on Atmos music. If that's properly done, it's stunning. It's like the 2-channel guys. Oh, surround sound's never going to make it. It's stupid. Well, it's not, obviously. And the same with Atmos, properly executed and done right. Atmos has been a game changer, and I'm excited to see what comes down the road.
Yeah, for sure. Wayne, what are your thoughts? I think Scott's camera took a dump, so we'll just continue on until he gets back on.
Yeah. Okay. There's definitely a lot of difference there. Just the fact that it is an object-based audio technology. It's miles different, really, from the original channel-based audio mix that we're used to. Object-based audio allows the sound engineer to position objects anywhere within the room and move it anywhere within the room. Of course, all of the sounds are still coming from the speakers, but the object-based software being used in creating these mixes allows for a much more flexible, faster, and more accurate placement of objects inside the room and then within the audio or within the audio space. And going to the addition of the overhead or the Atmos channels or speakers in particular, uh, these things are not present before in the native formats, right? And
Mhm.
so this allows for a much more immersive experience because this time around you actually have speakers over you when the sound needs to come from overhead.
Mhm.
To me, it's kind of like a no-brainer actually, because in order for you to make sound, for example, that comes from the rear to make it more realistic, you actually need to put speakers there, right? It's the
Mhm.
same thing with having a much more immersive and realistic sounds coming from above you. The speakers should be up there,
Yeah.
and so in the same way that the front speakers can never truly recreate the sensation of sounds coming
Mhm.
from the rear
Right.
compared to what rear speakers can do, the surround and the front speakers can never accurately create a sensation of sounds coming from above.
Mhm.
Only speakers that are actually above you can do that. And so, yeah, I think that these are the things that actually make the Atmos technology
Yeah.
work much more immersive than what the native formats can do
Especially in
before.
horror movies.
Mhm.
Horror
Yeah.
movies seem to be they take
Yeah.
advantage of it. And you're right, Wayne. I'm a huge 2 channel music guy, and I know a lot of the Atmos music is a little hokey, as people have said, but they're learning. Just like some of the
Mhm.
Dolby surround was a little hokey years
Mhm.
Mhm.
ago. They're still working on perfecting their craft, but that spatial cue of moving it from left to right, above you, behind you,
Yeah.
is Atmos has opened an entire new dimension on that. It
Yes,
really
Sure.
has.
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I was one of the guys that I was super skeptical when Atmos was first introduced. A lot of times I'm rarely the early adopter. I like to feel or like to say sometimes I was probably the last person on the planet to get a smartphone because I thought checking emails on a phone was stupid. I thought surfing the internet on the phone is stupid because I've got at that time it was probably a 4-inch monitor, and here I have a 32-inch monitor. That just doesn't seem logical to me. Of course, now
Mhm.
we use our phones every day for a lot of reasons. So I was hesitant to experience Dolby Atmos, at least in my own home. And it wasn't until I went to somebody's house that had a properly designed and set up home theater. This wasn't a multi-million-dollar home theater. It was an average dude like me, and demoed some really good Dolby Atmos material, and I was like, "Holy cow! I'm missing out." And so I installed 4 overhead in-ceiling speakers at the time, and when I was watching different scenes, especially like what Don was saying in the horror movie, so this isn't really horror, but it kind of is. It's more well, like A Quiet Place. And so in A Quiet Place, man, they just do a great job
Yeah.
of utilize because a lot of the film is silent. There's not a lot going on. And they utilize those height speakers and the rear speakers to really place, just like Wayne was saying, place the action where it is so that when you're watching that movie, you feel like you're in the middle of the movie. And
Yes.
so it doesn't come across as hokey. In A Quiet Place, the scene where it's called the red light emergency in
Mhm.
Kaleidoscape, when she's walking down the staircase and she goes over and turns on the light switch, comes back, you hear the monster. First, he runs across the top of the stairs. Well, guess what's active? Your front left. I guess I'll do it this way because the camera's probably backwards. Front left height is active, and then it pans over to the front right, and then later on, he's upstairs and you hear him just in the front left. And then he walks down the stairs. So then it travels down to your front left speaker. And then he moves past, off camera to the left. So then it travels from the front left to the side surround left. And so it places the sound where it's supposed to be. And so to the person that says Atmos is hokey, it's goofy, it's a scam, whatever you want to call it, my take on it is you've never heard a properly set up Dolby Atmos system. Bottom line, I've heard a bunch of them. I've had the privilege of probably hearing about 100 different home theaters, even across the world, over to the Philippines where Wayne is. You know, we heard his demo room, which is amazing. We had a chance to visit Doug's place. Him and his wife, they've got a beautiful home theater. Wayne designed that theater. And so I'm just telling you, you need to hear a properly done.
Yes.
And again, it doesn't have to be a multi-million-dollar system, just one that's designed well. Speakers are placed where they're supposed to be
not
placed.
bouncy house.
Yeah, put them where Dolby recommends them to be placed. Have quality amplification for those speakers, even if it's an AVR, just being able to power them the right levels, and you can get an amazing, amazing experience.
Speaking of Wayne, somebody did ask me if I would ask you, Wayne, and I didn't ask you yet because I wanted to wait till this live. Is people want to know, are you only doing like the Philippines and that surrounding area, or do you offer? I mean, obviously, for that caliber of a room, do you work worldwide? I guess is their question, because they're like, hey, does he work in the States? And I honestly didn't know the answer to that question, and we've chatted quite a few times.
Yeah. Actually, a big chunk of our clientele is coming from the States. A lot of people from there ask us to design home theaters for them. So yeah, we do international.
Do you even do like from start to finish? Like you fly you and your crew over to do like a full build?
Normally, what happens when when the client is coming from abroad is that we first design a theater for them. The deliverables will be first for the design, a 3D render so that you can see the room before building it, and then after that, when the client is satisfied with the design, when they say go with it, what we do next is we create the drawings, the architectural plans for it. These architectural plans are standard across the architecture discipline, so any builder would be able to understand them and execute them. And so the client would then go to his builder, his contractor, and give him the plans and say, this is the plans this is the plans for the theater that you're gonna build for me. We don't do the construction outside of the Philippines because we don't have a license for that. But there are several times also when the client wants me there just to check if things are going well, or if things are going according to plan. And so I fly to the US maybe 2 or 3 times excuse me, for the duration of the project, and then I go check it out. And so we even perform final calibration if they want us to.
So Wayne, if you need to find some integrators to work with to install that stuff over here, just hit me up, dude. I know a lot of people. I know that's what most of your theater designers do. They find they don't have their own crews necessarily. They do the design work like Wayne does and find somebody locally to service it and also install it.
Awesome. That should be great, Doug. Yeah, I'll hit you up.
So the next question I have for everybody, and I'll kind of kick it off by answering it first, just because it's very recent in my mind, is I adore my home theater, there's no doubt, but I see a lot of people doing media rooms, media spaces outside the home theater, and now with me having the new JTR Kalos in our other living room, I find myself, just because it's so easy to entertain myself or other people, that I'm finding me using that multi-use space quite a bit, and I don't have to have these huge boxes everywhere, and it kind of fits the form factor. I mean, RTJs take over the other room, but it's a strange phenomenon to me to see, like, me enjoying just a regular media space. So obviously, Michael, you're in the business of selling all kinds of different equipment, whether it be for home theater or now even media spaces. as Obsessed Home Theater, what kind of clientele are you getting? What kind of products are going through the door? I mean, are people home theater centered, or are they media room centered? What are you seeing?
Yeah, most of my channel, of course, the content that I'm most passionate about is home theater, you know. And so a lot of my audience are into home theater. Now, there's a lot of home theater guys that have 2-channel setups. You know, Don, very specific, loves music, but he loves home theater. So he's got both. Scott, you've got a 2-channel setup. Yeah, technically almost, well, I guess you got a 2-channel, you got a full theater, and you got a kind of a middle theater.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It depends what kind of mood I'm in.
Yeah. And so in my house, I've got a dedicated theater room. And then in the living room, I've got a 2-channel setup, you know, just 2 speakers, no subwoofers, run them full range. And that's just more casual. Oh, yeah. But it's not like a 2-channel setup. It's more just
casual music going on.
I thought we converted you.
Casual music, but also just watching, you know, like sometimes we'll watch like not a sitcom, but like
Survivor.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Well, Survivor we watch in the theater room.
Oh, okay.
But for some reason, we've been watching this new show called Destination X, and most of the time we don't. Oh, I know why we're not using the theater room, because I've got it all a wreck right now, reviewing other products.
You know, maybe your room just stays like that, because every time I talk to you, you're like, dude, I got 9 boxes, I got instruction manuals all over the floor.
Yep. Speaker boxes and subwoofers and I can't even lift up my screen right now because I've got 2 bookshelf speakers sitting on the ledge, you know, so it's always a challenge. But yeah, so, you know, with Obsessed Home Theater, most of it is people are building theaters. And so they're reaching out. Of course, you know, we're an authorized dealer for JTR and Per Listen. So really that kind of determines their budget and what style they're looking for. You know, if they don't want fancy cabinets, you can get a ton of value from JTR because they're not pretty. You know, I think they look awesome, but I'm certainly not putting them in my living room. And that was the whole reason why we reached out to Jeff and said, hey, we love your product, but let's just face it, they're not beautiful speakers. Could you make a smaller speaker? And they're not small either. So could you make a smaller speaker that's really designed for the living room crowd? Because 2/3 of my audience said that, hey, I don't have a dedicated theater room. So every time I do a video or a review of the speakers in my living room, I get lots of comments that say, hey, thank you for making content in a regular space. Like, what does that look like? How do you set that up? So they're grateful on that. And so, you know, we've got a lot of different people that are interested in doing a living room setup. So Kalos is a good fit for that. They've got a lot.
That's why I was asking if you were starting to see a little bit of, like, you know, just media room or living room folks reaching out to you guys. That's kind of because I know you guys just started carrying the Kalos, so I was like, oh, you know, we have it in that living room, and we host often. And I'll just be honest with everybody, as people were like, hey, we love your theater, 2-channel room. That's beyond anything that we could ever want to do, just because of the cost. Yeah, but they're like, we're digging this because this is within reach.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, Scott, there was a ton of research done on this, if you don't mind me interjecting. I think I clarified a little bit. So in the late 90s and really the early 2000s, everybody had a theater put in a house, even, you know, 4,000, 5,000. And the theaters were foo-foo, and everybody thought it should look like a movie theater. And what we found, and we were doing a ton of them, then all of a sudden it just started to slow. And we're trying to, as an industry in a whole, trying to figure, why is that? So what we found is people would build a house, they would build a theater. It was almost always in a segregated part of the house.
Yep.
It was a destination location, right?
Sure.
And more often than not, it was hot, it was dark, it wasn't comfortable, didn't work all the time. I mean, with the technology. And what the research found is that, you know, we're creatures of habit. In our homes, we live in kind of a few different areas. In Florida, it's a great room with a lanai, right? Or, you know, you're in your master suite in your bathroom, but the kitchen, great room area is where most people live. They all, you know, until they go to bed or in their little area. The theater being a destination location was just not what that ended up being was a place to do laundry, stack laundry, or a place the kids played video games, because people tend to congregate in these areas, and having a system in a family room or, you know, or a living room just was the norm. So the industry and the gear all kind of evolved to
Mhm.
put higher performance, you know, sound bars and in wall speakers and
Mhm.
on wall speakers. We're seeing a bit of a bump back into the personal theater as, you know, the technology has really became amazing and incredible, but it's still a rich person's game. As far as it being an integrator, it is. You know,
Mhm.
there's always the do-it-yourself people, but if you have a theater, most people just don't use it near as much as they think they will because, again, it's a destination location, and a lot of people just don't know how to get the temperature right. You don't want to watch a quiet place, and since it's quiet, the air conditioner kicks on, and you know the air comes through. There's a lot of factors that people don't take into consideration when they're building them, so they don't make them the most comfortable. They make them black because that's higher performance. You know, they don't make them a comfortable space. If you have a media room with a bar and an open game room to it, and maybe a cove where a theater is, those tend to get used more. But you're absolutely right in that observation. People are just more comfortable, a little bit more lighting,
Mhm.
a little bit, you know, they can talk and
See,
they're
for
not all
me,
the same direction. You know, you got furniture in multiple directions. So that's kind of where that comes from.
the theater is a special place. It's getting the family, getting the people together. Hey, Friday night, 7 o'clock, let's go down to the theater. Let's knock a movie
Yeah.
or two out. And it's a very special arrangement to where, like, the media room is you just go home from work or you just have friends in and out of the house and it's cool to entertain. But for me, like, I make it a special assignment. Like, hey, tomorrow I'm going to go downstairs and watch some concerts or watch the movie. And I think just everybody doesn't have the time possibly to. Sometimes I don't go in the theater for weeks.
Mhm.
If a new movie, new Transformer comes out, or if somebody comes over and they want to be blown away, we're going to the theater. Absolutely. It's just not the day to day solution for us.
I thought it was because you didn't want to put the defibrillator in the living room. Like,
We don't have to buy another one.
this guy's got a defibrillator on the wall
Yeah.
outside of his theater. It's so damn loud. I
Yeah.
swear to God.
So Wayne, how is it for you over there? I mean, is it a split crowd, or people rather have theater? Because so like Michael don't have basements. Those guys don't have basements in Florida. See, I
Yeah.
have basement in Chicago. It's cool. It is so right now because it's hot as heck outside, but it's
Mhm.
by 70 upstairs in the house. It's 62 in my theater room.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
So
snuggled
like
up in a blanket every time I come over to your house, man.
You have to keep your victims cold, you know.
so Wayne, for you for being an integrator and also dealing with a different clientele sometimes than we're used to, what do you guys see?
Um, I have to clarify first. When you say media spaces, what do you actually mean by that? Are they living room
Yeah,
setups?
almost like a high performance living room setup.
I see. I see.
So having
Okay.
like a surround sound system, so maybe it's a 5.1 in a living room, usually a
Mhm.
TV instead of a projector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just a dedicated room that's enclosed and theater seating and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, looking at it from the point of view here in the Philippines, what's uh, more at trend here? It's actually the other way around from you guys there. People prefer and do more media spaces here
Mm.
than dedicated theaters. The I think the number one reason for that is because home theaters, the dedicated ones, the well the really specific ones for movie watching, dedicated rooms that we love so much, is not really that mainstream here.
Mhm.
And actually, when I started Auto Review here, it was one of my advocacies to actually get it out there and let more people know about it,
Yeah.
because it's really not that well known here. And when I saw inspiration from very very beautiful home theaters that are being done there in the United States, I thought to myself, hey, this should be something that's common also here in our country. So yeah, here in the Philippines, it's more media spaces actually than home theaters, and we're trying to.
Karaoke spaces too.
Yes, yes, yeah, definitely that one.
Yeah.
And it's multi-purpose by nature. They watch TV on it, stream on it, do karaoke.
Yeah.
Uh, play video games on it. It's just more multi-purpose, and from a practical point of view, it's actually preferred by most people because of that.
And that, truthfully, that's the same here in the U.S. Is that the majority of people do not have a dedicated theater room. Like what I have, what Scott has, is kind of rare. You know, a lot of, I did a poll. It's been a couple years, but I asked my audience. I said, "Hey, how many of you have a dedicated theater room, and how many of you have your like a living room theater room?" And 2/3 said, "I don't have a dedicated theater room like you do. I've got a media room, or I've got a living room theater." You know, they may have 5 speakers and a subwoofer. Some may or may not have Atmos, you know, or height speakers installed. Some of them are renting an apartment, so they physically can't, you know, install ceiling speakers. So they can't cut holes in their wall because it's against their lease. And so they're limited. And so they just have to do like a 5.1. They can't do a Scott Newby experience because they'd get evicted from the apartment complex, you know. So there's limitations there. So I think honestly, even in the US, we're in the kind of very similar territory that most consumers have a living room set up, or maybe even a bedroom set up, or a garage. Well, no, that would be kind of a dedicated space, but usually it's like in a living room or a family room, or, you know, something in the main area of the house.
People like to chit chat and talk. I mean,
Sure.
they just do. And most theaters, everybody's facing forward. So it's kind of hard to, I mean, if you really think about it, you know, in theater chairs, everybody has to have theater chairs. I try to always avoid theater chairs if I can in a theater because they're just not that comfortable and there's too much separation. As a dedicated movie environment, like riding a ride at Disney World, that's great. And I love a performance theater. But, you know, most people like to sit around with a little bit more lighting on. You know, they just do. They're at home. They want to relax. And I think there's a big factor in that to it as well.
My wife, Jessica, she has the same thought as you. So she would love to have a couch, or she was wanting like a sectional or something in the theater room. And here's what I told her: we can do that in the living room. Like, that's literally what a living room is for. If we want to go chat and have a conversation, have good lighting, and have some food, and, you know, have some music playing, that's what a living room for. My theater room is for literally going in, turning off all the lights, getting comfortable, and watching a movie. I don't want to hear you talking. I don't want to you ask me questions. What are they doing? Well, we don't know yet. Let's watch the movie. And so I tell her, just hush up, give it 10 minutes or 30 minutes, and we'll probably figure out the answers to your questions. So to me, that's what the dedicated theater room's for. If we want to hang out, or if we want to snuggle, that's what the bedroom is for, and that's what the couch is for in the living room.
Oh, do tell, Mike.
Hey, I had 4 children.
You had me at snuggle.
And she got on our honeymoon, so that ought to tell you something, man.
Wayne, I just got an impromptu question from my buddy Robert. If you don't mind answering this, because I don't actually have an answer for him. He goes, "Hey guys, I'm at work and I'm listening to the stream. Appreciate you guys. Can you please ask Wayne? I seen a few weeks ago that he was doing a calibration, but now he is using 6 or 9 microphones. What is this all about?"
Okay.
Do you know what he's talking about?
Yeah. When you were doing audio calibration, when you take the measurements from a single point, say for example, you put the microphone where the head is supposed to be when at the main listening position. When you get the measurement there, what you're seeing in the graph will, if you get only one measurement, what you will be seeing in the graph will not be directly correlated to the actual thing that you're going to be hearing, if compared to when you get a spatial averaging, say several different microphone positions, and you spatial average those measurements, it's going to be much more correlated to the actual thing that you're hearing. So This is more about taking measurements inside a space, if you can call it that,
Mhm.
wherein you're gonna have a much more accurate representation of what you're hearing coming from the speakers versus just taking one single point that will represent everything from that big room. So it's something like that.
So that makes sense. And I think I actually remember the picture he's talking about, and I was like, "What kind of cool toys is Wayne playing with over there now?" Because I mean, I'm one of the U Mic 1 or U Mic 2 guys, just doing the
Mhm.
hobbyist calibrations. But it's cool to see, like, just how we started this, the cool toys that you guys get to play with as integrators. As I don't know, that's I don't know, that's cool. Thanks for taking that quick second question.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just gonna add a little bit more. Is that okay?
oh, for sure.
When you do use a U mic, a single microphone, you're still actually doing the same thing. It's just taking a little bit longer because you take several more measurements. You measure from this point, and then you measure again at another point, and then you measure again at another point. When you have several microphones, you can do it all at once. So it's just a tool that makes things go a lot faster
Mhm.
and more accurate to start with because you have a better microphone. But yeah, it's basically the same calibration process, just faster because you don't have to take several measurement points anymore. You can measure it all at once. And it's quite the same thing when you're doing the auto calibration. They also ask you to put the microphone here, another here, and then another microphone position
Yes,
here. It's
hate
kind
that
of the same with that.
direct. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the Accurus Aspect EQ system because it has 4 microphones on it, and it does a really good job with multiple microphones. That is for sure, Wayne.
And it does it at the same time. So
Mhm.
instead of
Correct.
like on Odyssey
Yeah.
and Arc, instead of putting it one, taking a measurement, moving it,
Yeah,
measurement, move it.
Mhm.
That's one
Yes.
thing I really like
yeah.
about that.
Direct wants me to shove bamboo shoots up my fingernails, dude. They can have that. They can take Dirac and take it right back to France, dude.
Wow. Not a fan of
No,
Dirac?
no, not
No,
at
he
all.
loves it.
No, not at all. Not at all.
All right, so we wouldn't be having a Bass Brings Us Together stream without answering a bass question. I get this question just about every day, and I'm sure that you guys do too. And we can answer from our personal experiences, from calibration experiences. And this is a lifelong question that people were like, well, they wanted me to ask Wayne about it from a calibration point, but we will definitely talk to all of us. And I will start this off. Um, Ported versus sealed subwoofers. We've all been in this position before. And my take on that, well, especially using a super, in my situation for the theater, ported all day because Jeff tunes the subs low enough that most of the time they act like a sealed sub.
Hmm.
So
Mhm.
I in my living areas, I I prefer the sealed because not only are they small, I mean they're smaller and it's a lot easier to fit into the
Mhm.
spaces,
Mhm.
and I get great nice bass from the sealed Kalos 12 and then the RTJ 18s. Absolutely rocking those spaces. Sealed would work fine in my theater for output too, but
Mhm.
for the experience I wanted in the theater, the violent port wind from the ports on the captivators I really enjoy, and then just having what I want to call unlimited 10 hertz output, to the point that it scares you. That I enjoy both, but for different reasons. I can't lay in bed with one without the other kind of deal.
Mhm.
So we'll go to you next, Michael. I'd like for you to answer from not only your personal experience, but as now running a business, what are you seeing that what direction people are going in their decision as well?
Yeah, and to me, it's a preference. I don't think there's a hardcore. If you have this, go with this. If you have that, go with that. In the past, a lot of people said, if you're listening to music, you've got to go sealed, and if you're watching movies, go ported. I don't think that's naturally, I don't think that's an absolute truth. So for my room, part of it, you mentioned it in your discussion, is that I was limited in my space. My room's only 13 wide, 19 deep. The front cabinet takes up 4 foot of that. So effectively, my space that I have available on the floor from the screen to the sidewalls to the rear is only 13 wide by 15 feet deep because of that front cabinet. And so I don't really have a lot of space to put subwoofers on the floor. So I was limited to place my subwoofers behind the screen. So originally, of course, I wanted the big bad boys. I wanted the 4,000 ULFs. Well, the problem with that is they're massively deep. Now, granted, I could have gone with the tall. That probably would have worked. We could have maybe squeezed it up in there because I do have the height of my ceiling, which is 10 feet. But I opted for sealed, and I was talking with Jeff. I'm like, hey, you know my room, you know my setup. He recommended the RS2s, and so got them in, and they rocked my stinking world. I'd never experienced anything like that in my setup. And so it's definitely a different sound. You mentioned the word that I refer to when you have really, really big ported subwoofers. It's a violent kind of bass. It's the kind of bass that reaches out and grabs you. You remember in the Avengers movie where Hulk, and I forget who he grabs, but he grabs somebody and he starts slamming them left and right. It's like bam, 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 bam. To me, that's the
That'd be
picture of who was it?
Loki, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he grabs
Loki, yeah.
and he just like slamming him like a toy, and it's a violent. So to me, that is big ported subwoofers. The sealed version is a different experience. It's not as violent. Maybe it's more controlled. I don't know, but in my room, for sealed was plenty of output. I don't need any more output. My room, it's not like your room where you absolutely are questioning whether or not your house is going to be standing after the demo. So it's not quite like that. But there are times, I'm just hearing my whole dang house rattle and shake. And it's like, okay, I don't need any more output. And I certainly don't need any more extension. I don't need to go lower than 5 hertz. That's super stinking low. I'm not chasing down to 1 hertz. And so there's nothing that I feel that I need in my theater room that, a ported subwoofer would provide. And the other thing is, even aesthetically, it just looks super cool having identical height speakers and size speakers as my subwoofers. And so they're the same height. You got this cool look. They're all on the stage. So when I lift up the screen, I just love it, So now, does that mean that I'll never have subwoofers, like ported subwoofers? No. I mean, I may do that in my next build. It really depends on what space do I have available. I may go with 4 ported and put 1 in each quarter.
That's a good start. Yes.
Yeah. I'll never chase the Newby experience. I'll be honest. I have no desire to go down that route. But yeah, so to me, I think that both can go, that can do well in a home theater. Where I tend to me, pretty much anything below an 18-inch, I probably would recommend a ported, because the hard thing is the amount of displacement that you get from a single 15 or even 2 15s. It's difficult to pressurize a room with just that. You'll hear it, but you're not going to feel it like you will 18s or dual 18s. And so when you get to 18s, I think that's where it's easier in my mind to recommend either sealed or ported. But when it's the smaller, so especially like a 12-inch or a 10-inch, to me, go ported all day, every day, But that's just me. But that doesn't work for everybody, And so Don's shaking his head. That may be totally different for his experience. And that's what's cool. We get to build our theater rooms for us. Mm-hmm. I didn't build my theater for my audience. I didn't build it for Don. I didn't build it for Wayne's approval. I dang sure didn't build it for Scott. I built it for me and my family and my friends.
Why'd I get singled out?
And so that's the great thing is we all get to pick what we want for our theater. And I don't think there's a right or a wrong. It's what are your goals? If your goals are output, maybe ported is better because you are going to get more output typically with the equivalent. If you're chasing low frequencies, typically a sealed enclosure is going to dig deeper than a ported. So it really just depends on what your goals are, the size of your room, how much output you need, how loud you listen to it. So that's my take on it. Love to hear what you guys think, though.
All right, Don, you're up next. So, as an enthusiast, what's your thoughts? And then, as integrating, what's your thoughts?
So it depends. All right. So there are certain ported subs that are done right. They're tuned properly. Jeff's being one of them. They're great. Then like the RBH makes a ported sub that, I mean, the ports are huge. The way it's tuned, it's very musical, very accurate. And then there's like your push-pull designs like M&K used and Perlison uses, which are, kind of a unique hybrid sort of between the two. But 98% of the time, all ported subs are a cheap way to give you output for less money. That's it, period. They don't sound nearly as good. They don't hit as good. They're not as accurate. It's a different kind of bass experience. They don't couple with the room the same. It's all about output, and that's fine. If you can only afford a couple ported subs, they're going to give you the most bang for the buck, like Michael said, and that's perfectly okay. But if you're asking me objectively, what sounds better, there's just no comparison. Ported subs just hit different. They're easier to place. They couple with the room more. They play lower. If they're done properly, they're just punchier. They sound more accurate. They're more musical. And, I just, all things being equal, I would always pick a sealed sub given the opportunity. I might have to add an extra one or maybe two. And it doesn't mean if you got ported subs, you're wrong by any measure. I'm just saying the really real truth is ported subs don't sound as tight and accurate as sealed subs in my experience, which is vast. So there you go.
And if you disagree, you
can disagree all you want.
Well, see, I think where Don's coming from, and not to put words in his mouth, but when we're all thinking about 12-inch clip subs from Best Buy sale or something that's just giving you some kind of bass, it's better
100%.
than nothing, but you're not doing a bunch of technical, objective listening. But if you're custom building a ported subwoofer for a purpose, or going with a reputable brand like RBH or JTR for a ported sub, they're obviously building it. Yeah. So, and I kind of knew, because me and you have had that conversation before, Don, so I already kind of knew what your answer was going to be.
Right.
So, Wayne, I'd like to move on to you next, because am I correct in thinking that when you do ported subs, but you're doing all custom designs yourself to the room? I mean, I'll let you explain, because I follow your work. I'm a big fan. I go girl crazy over your work. Don't tell anybody.
We need shirts for the fan club.
So Wayne, being in the industry and for your theaters that you build, what is a good go-to for your company?
You got it right. To give context, I do design custom enclosures using drivers for our theaters sometimes when it's needed there, and so I'm very familiar with both the sealed subs and the ported subs, not just with how they sound in a room, but also the particulars, the technical details that go with them. This has been actually a big point of contention among enthusiasts, and the debate has raged over for a long time now. But let me backtrack a little bit, and let's address the elephant in the room. What actually most enthusiasts mistakenly point as the difference between sealed and ported subwoofers in their room, 9 times out of 10, it's not that. It's not the difference between the ported and the sealed subs. It's actually how the subs perform in their room with the room modes and the room resonances in action. And so the fluctuation of the quality and the quantity of the bass that you hear inside your room is caused by the room resonances and not the subwoofers. And so in order for you to actually compare, objectively, the difference between sealed subs and ported subs, you need to actually remove the elephant in the equation first. You have to remove the influence of the room, which is the modes or the resonances. And the way to do that, well, it's actually beyond the scope of the question at the moment. But I can enumerate for the purposes of our discussion these three most important things. First, the placement of your subs, the placement of your seats, and obviously correct scientific calibration that is performed by a professional. Then and only then will you actually be able to compare, sealed subwoofers and ported subwoofers. And so now that we have that out of the way, is there a difference between sealed and ported subs when it comes to sound quality in the final integration? Yes, there is. But if you actually done your homework well, as I just mentioned, these three things, get the placement of the subs right, get the placement of the seats right, and then get it calibrated properly, you will actually get results that are so close between two different types that sometimes it becomes actually negligible. You don't really hear that much of a difference anymore. And it is a case-to-case basis because some factors come in the room itself. Every room is unique. As um, people here who have done so many rooms before will attest to that. Every room is unique. Every room has its own compromises and it has its own problems. And you cannot obviously remove the room from the equation when you already have a home theater. So there will be phase and vector sum issues, group delays in the frequencies, the room gains come into play, and but generally speaking, if you have done your homework well and designed the theater well, it's properly calibrated, the differences will be really small. And to cap it all, personally, in smaller rooms, I actually prefer using sealed subwoofers because number one, you get the room gain out of it. It just sounds punchier because group delays is not that much when it comes to the frequencies. Group delay is the arrival of the frequencies at the listening position. And so if, for example, the 20 hertz to the 40 hertz frequencies arrive later than the 60 hertz to the 120 hertz, they kind of like go out of phase a little bit, and it makes the bass wider rather than narrow and tight when it comes to the punch. And so in smaller rooms, I actually prefer the sealed subs. But obviously, when you have a really huge room or a really huge home theaters, 16 seats, 20 seats or more, then you're gonna have to start thinking about ported subwoofers. I generally don't like the group delay and the lack of room gains introduced by ported subs, so I prefer sealed in the smaller rooms. But of course, that's just me, and it's perfectly doable to use ported subs and have almost no difference with sealed ones when it's done properly and designed properly. And this all actually starts with a solid understanding of science of acoustics. And well, the myths have been here for decades already, and I think they're outdated now and serve us no longer. So yeah, I think that's my take for in that.
So a few of us were writing that down. Can you start again from the beginning?
The biggest theater I've ever did, we had to use ported subs in there, and you're absolutely right. Because they were going to give us the output at certain frequencies that we wanted to do, and we got those dialed in with the Trinov really, really well. I was just generally speaking overall for most people, but when you're designing a professional theater at that level, then you can calculate and pre-calculate, but most people just don't have that luxury. They're just buying a couple of subs and popping them down in the room, trying to calibrate them with their Dirac or their Art or Odyssey or whatever they're using. But there are definitely, and again, all ported subs aren't created equal. It really depends on the design and the tuning of it as well.
Yeah. So Wayne, quick question for you. So you mentioned big rooms. So if you've got 12 seats, 15 seats, 20 seats. So I know there are some manufacturers out there that make some really big subwoofers, 21s, 30s, 50s, 80s.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
do you see a benefit in using those massive subwoofers because most of those are typically sealed, or would you still go with a ported or multiple ported in those big rooms?
When you start going bigger and bigger in the room, you normally lose the room gain now because the frequencies are going lower when it comes to the resonances and the gains that you have. If we have access to say 21 or 24s, I would probably consider them. But here right now in the Philippines, where it's actually very hard to get a hold of drivers like this, we we normally go for the ported ones. But yeah, if it were up to me, and if it were an ideal world where I can just get these drivers, I would definitely go for them. Even the 50-inch subs of Ascendo.
It'll be an interesting experience for you, Wayne, because my theater is small. It's only about 14 by 16 feet, so it's a small theater. But there's 20 ported 18s in this room, so it'll definitely be it definitely rubs the grain a different way. But everybody seems to really enjoy themselves when they experience it. So I'm excited to.
Yeah,
It was.
I just need to bring earplugs when I go there.
Wayne,
got 'em.
definitely. You need them. Highly recommend them. It's a fun experience.
Take a couple baby aspirin for you guys.
I've never gotten a headache, but it's
not right.
it's a wild stinking ride, and I mean that in all respect. It is a wild ride. Scott doesn't listen to it like that when he's just watching normal movies, but he likes to. It's like the dude that has the Ferrari or the Bugatti or whatever. It's like he's not wide open all day every day, but boy, when he has a guest in the hot seat, he's like, hey, what's that over there? And you look and boom, he hits it. That's what Scott's gonna do. He's gonna hit you with it. So I'm excited for you. It's a fun time, man. And
We actually have a nice day planned for Wayne. So obviously, because me and Wayne were chatting about this a lot. Of course, he likes checking out the gear. He's an enthusiast with that, but he was super excited to just hang out with the community. When I put it out, to our community, hey, Wayne's in town. We'll allow like 12 or 13 people to hang out with us. In 1 hour, I had 30 people messaging us. So I was like,
so awesome.
yeah, and they're here for the day because we're going to hang out at my place for a couple hours, and we're going to go over to my buddy Mark's, which Youthman, you've been over there a few times. Mark's is a great time.
Great system, great dude.
Then we're going to go out for some good Chicago pizza and show Wayne around a little bit and get some good food in him. But
Wayne, make sure that Mark shows you his binder. He's really proud of it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, as Wayne being a calibrator, Wayne will get into those binders.
Yeah. He's a great dude. He's put a lot of time, a lot of love, a lot of calibration into his setup. It's done really, really well.
Oh, awesome.
So exciting news actually for all of our communities that follow me or Michael's. You guys are going to be getting some cool footage from both of us here in November. Mm-hmm. Because me and the boys in Chicago, we just booked a trip that we were doing a road trip down to Florida from Chicago, bringing a van full of home audio boys. Mm-hmm. Going to go down, hang out with Dunn, hang out with Audioholics, hang out with the Obsessed Home Theater crowd, and we're just going to make a 3-day weekend and demo it, check it out, hang out, eat too much food, I'm sure, and just have an awesome time. So literally, me and Tony Negretti from JTR, Mark that we were just talking about, and a few other guys, we're going to load up in a big minivan and just take that 18-hour drive, man, and go hang out with Michael and his crew and Don and his crew, and it'll be a lot of good, not even just footage to share with everybody, but it's going to be a great time. So
I think you're going to come by the Obsessed Home Theater Lab and even see Matthew Poe's his theater. So should be good, man.
Well, and Rusty should have his done.
Correct. Oh, that's right. So he's working hard on it. So he's got all his speakers ordered. He already has some of the equipment. He's already got his NZ9.
Are we allowed to talk about what speakers that Rusty's getting?
Yeah.
Because that is an epic epic order that he.
Yeah.
Not to put words into Rusty's mouth, but would you mind? Because I just like hearing people talk about that order.
Yeah. So honestly, I have to remember. So he's doing 215 RMs. So that's the monitor versions. And so Jeff makes custom size bases. And so he's figured out what height he wants on the speaker. And so they're building those for him. So there'll be like a base below it.
And that's dual 15-inch drivers per channel.
Dual 15. And he's doing, I want to say, is he doing 9? I know he's doing at least 7.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of where I saw. Yeah, but anyway, so he'll do 7 of those. He's ordered 2 RTJ sub 18s, but he also, I think he has 4 other 18s that he built himself. I think they've got the Dayton Audio, what is that?
Ultimate.
UM18?
Yeah.
Ultimate, yeah.
Ultimate.
So I think he's got 8 of those. So he'll have 4 of those. So he'll have 6 18s in the room. So he
Plus
might be able
14 15s.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. And then he's
awesome.
doing 4 the 110 HT in walls, but basically he's going to mount those in the ceiling.
Okay. Yeah.
So
like I did.
Yeah. So those have a 12-inch, 10-inch driver in those. So there'll be 4 10s. He's going to have a whole lot of horsepower in that. He's looking at doing a lens for the NZ 9, and then like a Panamorph lens. And then he's talking with Stewart film screen, probably going with like the Studio Tech. He's the Studio Tech 130 G4. Is that right? Does that sound right? It's basically like the standard in the industry. It's got a 1.3 gain screen, acoustically transparent. I believe, what did we say? His screen will be about 165 inches, I think. So decent size screen. I say decent. That's a big screen, you know. So yeah, so he's pumped about it. And we were talking about this. So, you know, when he moved from Texas to Florida to Lady Lake to he's our CEO of Obsessed Home Theater. He had to disassemble his theater that he had built in Texas. And so he gets to the new home, and the new home doesn't have a dedicated theater room. He bought Matt Mormon's home, which is the CEO of Obsessed Garage and our other business partner. So he bought Matt's home. Matt moved down about 30 minutes south of there to Middleton, Florida, where his kids go to school. And so he bought a home down there. Rusty bought Matt's old home. But Matt and Rusty now has a living room home theater, basically. It's a full theater room with a TV. But Rusty's like, man, I miss my projector. And I miss having a dedicated room. And so we had Matthew Pose up there. And so Matthew's going to help work with the layout, the design, as far as especially like the acoustics part of it. Matthew gave us some tips on how to build basically like a floating floor so that you'll get more tactile response. It's real thin, but and possibly, you know, do some construction on the ceiling, a lot of different things in the room. So he's got a lot of work, but he's doing all his homework, figuring out what he wants. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty freaking killer system. So I can't wait. He's excited, but he went up to where I was going with that is when we went up to the Bass Brings Us Together event. That was one of the catalysts that really ignited the fire in him to like, all right, I need to get my room done, you know, because it just really got him excited again about home theater. And so huge.
Well, I can say this publicly because we just had a meeting the other day. Mm-hmm. And so this should make my channel go wild. Is Rusty said that my event changed his life.
Yeah, he did.
Oh boy.
and he was serious because he
was serious. It meant a lot to me.
It got him excited about home theater again because he'd kind of, part of that is he became the CEO of Obsessed Garage because they had their CEO step down. And so Rusty was kind of filling in, but he was so inundated with the everyday of running a business that he was struggling with having fun, you know? So now he's resigned from there. They've got a dedicated, he was just filling in until they got one, but they now have a CEO. So he's now full-time back with Obsessed Home Theater. He was just divided, if that makes sense. And so now he gets to play with the gear that he loves that we're all talking about. He gets to chase that inner dream and childhood of, listening to music and watching movies and building a theater room and servicing customers and providing value by being able to compare different things in a room and then offer a suggestion saying, here's, based on what we've experienced, based on what we've heard and the experiences that we've had, here's our recommendation in all the different categories, whether it's an AVR, subwoofer, speaker, media players, all that stuff. And so we're just having fun, but he's definitely super pumped about his theater. And I can't wait to, somebody asked even in my channel, they're like, hey, it's been 3 months. When's this thing going to happen? I'm like, dude, we've been juggling so many products, or not products, but so many projects. We've been working at Matt's house. He's got a dedicated theater room. We've been working on his living room. We've been working on Rusty's room. We've been working on the Obsessed Home Theater lab. We've been building the business. So there's just so much going on. It's like we're spinning plates, and we're running from one plate to another. And so it just all takes time. So, but his theater room is absolutely underway. I was just spending, I spent the past 2 days with him at our lab in Obsessed Home Theater headquarters in Lady Lake, Florida. So, but yeah, so it's coming along. He's gonna have a really cool system. And so, of course, we're going to bring you along that entire process, from all the construction. I'll be filming all of that, all the installing the speaker. He just wanted to go over the top. Like nobody needs 7 or 9 215s in his size room, but he's going to do it, because he can.
Bite your tongue.
What's that?
Bite your tongue. What he needs. Yeah. None of this is about need, Oh,
no. None of home theater is a need.
Well, I want to answer this question for John real quick. So, John, in a lot of cases, so most people won't build what I build just because, it's a little outlandish that nobody needs that output. But still, especially if you're doing a lot of seats, 6, 8, 10, 12 seats, the more subs you have, the more you can make that experience really good at each seat. You could probably place 2 24s and tune them for a handful of seats, but if you're talking a large room like Wayne specializes in, you need different locations. You need, to cover different room modes. And it really, once again, it's just talking about the right tool for the job, pretty much. I'm not a good case for that. So like Michael has dual 18s in the front of his room. He gets good response. That works good for him. You can get a good response with a lot of less stuff, but if you want to do multiple seats or if you want to do a lot of output, multiple subs is certainly the way to go. So I just wanted to.
I have 4 18s, 2 in the front. Say basically what Michael has when he's separated, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. So we all have JTR, RTJ subs. I don't know if Wayne does, but I know we do.
So we've been on here for about an hour and a half. I certainly appreciate everybody stopping by, but I want to start closing this up. But I want to go around the panel one more time because it's strange to us as I don't know, whatever we are. I don't know if we're content creators, extreme enthusiasts, whatever that we are. But people are always asking, "Hey, where can I hang out with you at? Where are you going next? What's going on?" So I just want to kind of go around. So I'll just start it off. So as you guys know, our next in-home event is with Wayne coming into town. We are unfortunately currently full, but I will be setting up an event sometime around Thanksgiving for a base giving, and I'll release those details either on our YouTube or our Facebook channel. And other than the large event where we do 70 or 80 people, all the smaller events are around 10 or 12 people. So I will certainly share that information. So we'll go to you next, Wayne, because you're coming to the States. When you come to see me, you're doing other activities. Is there a chance during any of that, if people are around, that they'll be able to see at other locations other than my house?
Is that me? Yeah, I'm gonna be at Cedia, so see you guys there. For all of you who are going there at that event as well. Yeah, I'm sure Michael's gonna be going there.
Yeah, I'll be there probably 2 days this year. So I'll probably be going Thursday. Should be Thursday and Friday, I think.
Yeah, awesome. I think we'll see each other there. I'm gonna be there for.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Awesome. How about you, Scott? Are you going there?
No, I'm not. I'm not going there. Yeah, but now I feel left out. Thanks for that.
No, it's just a bunch of nerdy guys in cargo shorts and too big polos that are too big. So you're not missing much.
So if you guys are going to Cedia, or you want to meet Wayne and you're around Cedia, I mean, that would be a good chance that you could, it was, and obviously, Wayne, you do good work because you have your own following. I mean, that's no doubt. But when I put that out, they're like, I got to come meet Wayne. I'm like, dude, and I felt terrible because I'm like, man, we're already at capacity. And they're like, oh, that sucks. What else is he doing to where we can meet him? So it's weird for all of us when people are like, hey, I'll go out of my way to hang out with you. I mean, we've had
Thanks,
over 700 people through the house in the last couple of years, and it still is very odd that somebody's like, hey, I'm going to fly in or drive in or to hang out with you and, your crew for a day. And I don't know, it just blows me away. So,
well, you inspired me, Scott. I've had about 50 or 60 people through my house over the last close to a year doing demos. And when I moved to North Georgia, I'll certainly open my place up, about 45 minutes an hour north of Atlanta, to people that want to come. I'll have multiple systems set up. I mean, it's really about spreading the joy of the hobby, letting people hear multiple systems, the fellowship to talk about it, break bread with people, and it's great. You're inviting like high level professionals like Wayne in, that people can ask questions that they normally wouldn't have access to. I mean, I'm sure Wayne charges a pretty penny to his clients for his profession, and to be able to give it out like that is really, it's really a good thing.
Yeah, we've been fortunate to be able to host the people like Wayne and have like Jeff Permanian in the house, Mark Seaton in the house, and Michael and Rusty, just people that the enthusiasts getting to hang out with, people that they look up to or people that they just connect with, to be able to shake their hand and, have lunch with and just talk about, because at the end of the day, we're all enthusiasts at heart. So it's cool to, during the day, I'm sure, Wayne, like Seaton and Permanian, all those guys it's about work and building this and building that and pleasing the customers. But these guys are all, we're all just enthusiasts, man, at heart for sure. And that's why we're all here, is to hang out with everybody. So Don, what's, if people are looking, where are you heading? What do you got going on where people could, so obviously you're going to be at Cedia. So actually, if anybody's going to Cedia, you got a nice crew of people that you can meet and hang out with.
The hard
I'll
thing
be at
is
Audio Advice next weekend to their show.
That would be something easier that the people in the chat, most of the guys, they're not going to get the ability to go to Cedia.
Cedia is a professional trade show. It's not open to the public.
Oh, see, that's why I'm not going, Wayne. You asked, I'm not a professional.
Yeah.
Cedia is my profession as an integrator, and what Wayne does and what Michael's going to be soon, whether he knows it or not.
Already doing it.
Yeah, already doing it, being an integrator. So that's where all the fabulous technology is.
Yeah, so Audio Advice Live would be a great event. That's open to the public. I would be going this year, but we have an event that Saturday, so it'd be really tough for me to fly in, do Friday, get back home Friday night. So it's just not going to work out this year, but hopefully I'll be able to make it out again this year.
Yeah, it's a great show. I mean, we'll be at most of the audio shows and whatnot. And you've got a big showroom now, Michael. That's going to be a destination location soon enough.
Yeah, eventually, part of the goal there is to, of course, let's say, for instance, once we get the lab built, let's say we've got somebody that says, man, I'm debating on the 212s and, the 215s, or man, I'm considering per listen, but should I go per listen? Should I go JTR? I've never heard them, either one of them. Well, guess what? Jump on a flight or take a road trip, come down. We'll play with some speakers in the lab and you can hear them firsthand. So that's going to be part of that. And then eventually we'd love to have some get-togethers, to where we can open up the lab. You can come, maybe we'll set up some demos and set up, some actual comparisons and just have some fun with a bunch of people. So
this might be a good question for Michael or Don, because I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Any events going on in Florida?
Yeah, there's typically only one show that I know of in Florida. It's the Florida Audio Expo.
Yep,
It's typically held in Tampa, and so it's a great show, but it's a 2-channel show. So you're not going to get there might be 2 theaters in a hotel room, if you kind of imagine that. So it's just a really small room. I've heard SVS and maybe Theory Audio, I think. Is that the ones that they're like on wall speakers?
Yeah, SBS is definitely.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Theory Audio and I think it was Theory and SVS. They're the only 2 home theaters that I've seen set up at the Florida Audio Expo. Everything else is going to be really high-end stuff, most of it. You're going to have $200,000 pair of speakers kind of thing. You're going to have $70,000 speaker cables on $4,000, risers, those types of things. So it's definitely on the Wayne's like, holy crap. Yeah, it's wild.
Now you got it. Get your little jab in on that.
Yeah, but the reality is
right though.
But that's you've got $20,000 record players, turntables. And so this is a lot of really high-end gear. So if you want to check that out just for the experience, it's an awesome show. It's just not a home theater show. So
yeah, I think I saw you come in and leave. Like I saw Michael, and I saw Michael leaving.
Well, that one I was limited on time, so I literally
okay.
I came in. I didn't have a whole lot of time, but I'm like, you know what? I live in Plant City. Tampa's literally a 30-minute drive for me. There's no reason not to come over, even if I come over for 2 hours. And it was the last day of the show.
Do an open house.
What's that?
Will Obsess do like an open house?
Yeah, eventually. Well, we're going to open up the lab. Absolutely.
Okay.
And then eventually the plan is to have a showroom, likely in Middleton, Florida, in the Villages. And so eventually, this may be a year down the road, maybe 2 years down the road, but ideally we would like to have an actual showroom as well, in addition to the lab. The lab is where we play and tear stuff apart. It's not going to be like if you were to go to one of the showrooms at Audio Advice, it's a finished, dedicated theater room. They have like 3 of them. So that's where we would do it at the showroom, just like Wayne has in his facility at his headquarters. He has a showroom. The lab is not a showroom. The lab is continually changing. It's continually swapping out AVRs. It's basically everything I do in my theater room, but instead of in there, we're going to do it in the lab. We may be testing out subwoofers. Maybe we get in somebody's 24-inch subwoofer. And like the question earlier, how does an 18 JTR 18 compare to somebody else's 24? Well, we don't know. Maybe we get it in and we do some testing and measurements and have some fun with it, and we get firsthand experience with that. So that's what that's going to be. So yeah, absolutely. We would love to have some get-togethers at Obsessed Home Theater, whether it's the lab or the showroom eventually. But yeah, man, we're excited.
So Wayne, before we wrap this up, I got a quick question. So the Gondolin Theater, that's your personal showroom? Like, is that your personal theater?
No, it's our showroom. It's where we demo our clients in.
Scott, did you not watch my video, son? We did an interview in the Gondolin Theater. You could see the whole thing. It's awesome.
I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it in a while. I thought you were going to make yearly trips out there for updates, but
I wish. Awesome, man. Next time, like I said, Jessica and I are coming up for like a week, and we're going to that beautiful island that Wayne was telling us. He's like, man, you really need to go over this island. I'm like, dude, we only booked 2 days here. We flew in on day 1, filmed on day 2 and 3, and we flew out on day 4. and it was a 21-hour flight. So it's a long process, but Jessica needed to get back to work. So
for you guys that haven't seen, go to Wayne's site. The Gondolin Theater is absolutely beautiful. If you look on Facebook on Wayne's page, he's built or had his hands in some of the nicest theaters that I've seen. Lots of really cool theaters, and they're absolutely beautiful. So if somebody wants to see the Gondolin Theater, Wayne, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you? Through email or Facebook or telephone call?
Yeah, they can contact us through the website or through our email, but we also accept bookings through our Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's autorio.com pretty much, right?
Yes, and our Facebook page is Autoreview Home Cinemas, so they can contact us there and get a booking for a demo.
Hey, Wayne, I got a question for you. I'm kind of worried about you. Did you get stung by some bees or something? You're all swollen up, dude. Like your arms are all swollen. You okay? Yeah, I was a little worried. You need some Benadryl or something, dude?
Just had to work out. I've been out of shape for quite some time.
Yeah.
See, he told us he was running a few minutes late because it was early. He just got done doing 300 push-ups before we went live.
Yeah, so he could flex for the crowd.
So, all right, everybody, we on here for about an hour and a half for you to take your Friday night, or if you're in Wayne Spider World, your Saturday morning, come hang out with us. It looked like we had between about 40 and 60 people on the whole time. So, I mean, that's absolutely awesome that you guys would take over an hour out of your time to hang out with us. So, hope to do more of these in the future. If you follow Wayne's work or Michael's work or Don's work or mine, we all certainly appreciate your time, conversations. We'll see you guys soon. I'll see you guys in the green room, but yeah, I'll be signing off. So if you guys want to say goodbye.
Yeah, I dropped the chat to Wayne's video. So if you want to see what his actually, I think there's even another video on my channel, because we did two videos at your showroom, or was it in that one video? I can't remember.
Two. We did
okay,
two.
So we've got two. There's two videos on my channel. So I dropped one. I'll have to find the other one. And if I can, I'll link it in the description once I find it.
Awesome. Don, you want to blow everybody a kiss goodbye?
Toodles, motherfuckers. I love you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Love y'all.
All right, everybody.
Like a fat kid, though.